So I am thinking more about how humankind might evolve further. And we might evolve into some other kind of creature, some other kind of entity with different abilities and whatever. So I don't know what our previous development stage was. Maybe it was monkeys, whatever. So I'll go with that. So we were monkeys before, and then we've evolved into being humans. So if humans evolve further into some other kind of creature, I'm trying to think of what that might be. And one of the things I'm thinking is maybe we might evolve into some entity which has abilities that we would want to have now, but we can't do it now. We need to use machines or whatever, or train really hard to acquire certain abilities. We might have these things naturally. So I'm thinking, for example, we type on computers, whatever, with our 10 fingers. It's possible the next stage of development might mean more fingers, so we could type more. Or maybe we'll abandon typing and just do everything with our voice commands. So our voice boxes might become more developed, more complex, so we could make more detailed sounds to communicate with machinery using our voices, but in very special tones or whatever, and accomplish the same kind of things we would by typing. So that's possible that there will be some kind of voice box development that takes place. There's also the visual part of things, but at the moment we go with binocular vision, and that seems to be the end of the road. So I'm wondering if more eyes would be useful in any way. Would it be useful to have four eyes arranged on our headset in some way? I'm wondering about that. And the same, I suppose, applies to hearing. I don't know if we need to enhance hearing anymore. In other words, I don't know if any further evolutionary development would involve an increase in our hearing ability. The main thing I'm thinking is that the way we're progressing in technology and whatever is all about interfacing with complex machinery. And we do that with our hands mostly, and also with our voices to an extent. I'm not sure if we interface with machinery in any other way. There are some touch things that we use keyboards and whatever, and we use the mouse. So I'm thinking that the way we want to interface with machinery is mainly by voice and thought and thinking. Maybe we will develop some kind of communication device, interface device, where we can communicate with computer machinery using just thoughts. I think it is highly likely that we will develop some kind of way of enabling thoughts to be translated into computer commands. It seems to me that certain thoughts involve certain patterns of neurons in our brains. And if we can find some way to assess these neurons and keep track of these neurons, we might be able to have a system where we have specific commands that we memorize and construct in our heads. So if we want the computer to change or open YouTube, for example, we could think in a certain definite way that machinery could pick up that thought process, the thought pattern, and then open YouTube on the computer. And then you could think something else in a definite way, and that will give a command to the computer. So I'm thinking that we can find a way to communicate with machines, or computers rather, using specific thoughts in a certain way. And so when we learn computer languages, what we'd be learning is how to form certain thoughts in a certain way in our brains, and then that will communicate with the computer. I think that that's definitely possible. It seems to me that it's highly likely that certain thoughts involve certain patterns in our brain, neurons, certain patterns, and you can probably train us, we can train ourselves to think in a certain way to produce certain patterns in our brain, which can then be assessed by a computer and turned into a command. I think that would be possible. So, I don't know, but I'm guessing it would be possible. And that's an amazing concept. To communicate with the computer just by thinking at it in a certain way. That's just amazing. And it seems to me that it would be possible if we can somehow picture the brain and look at the brainwaves and tie a thought to a specific pattern of brainwaves. It does seem credible. It seems possible to do something like that. Only time will tell, but I think the days of the keyboard might be numbered, and maybe the mouse as well. Maybe we'll move away from that, and it will be thought control, thought communication with computers. I think I'll work on that and see what I can come up with, but that's probably a vain hope.